Newfoundland and Labrador is a mix of color and harshness, and with the landscape making you feel like you are literally on the edge of the world. It's easy to see why they call this place the Rock. But it could be argued that the people here are the friendliest in the world, and time and again they've proved that by welcoming people from far away with open arms. You don't turn your backs on people in need, is what they say here. This is a province with natural wonders. Out-of-this-world adventures, a vibrant culture, and more than a few barrels of rum. I'm Nathan. I'm on a journey across Canada, and in this episode, I'm going to see what the most easterly edge of North America is all about. Newfoundland and Labrador is a product of our English, Irish, French, and Indigenous heritage. The Vikings even hung out here 1,000 years ago. This place is home to the oldest European settlement and one of the oldest cities in North America, St. John's. And before I venture out to explore, I'm going to kiss a cod and wash it down with some rum. It's what you do to become an honorary Newfoundlander, of course. They call it Screeching In. I was born a Newfoundlander, but hey, it never hurts to embrace one's roots again, am I right? And one person that knows all about it is Skipper Lukey of the world-famous Christian's Pub. Time to get screeched in. Well, Skipper Lukey, you're a legend here on George Street at Christian's. You're experiencing St. John's. You're going to find out about George Street. It has most bars per square foot in Canada?
We do have a fair number of drinking establishments here in downtown St. John's, for sure.
Yeah, how did the tradition of, taking a shot of screech and kissing a cod, where did that all originate?
It was a ceremony that was introduced by the Americans many years ago when there was a military base here in Newfoundland. And it was a way that new military people would be welcomed to the base by Newfoundlanders. They had a certificate there written in Old English, and it had icebergs and whales and puffins and codfish and lobster. It was beautiful. But when the military base pulled out of here, they rebranded the ceremony, the Screeched In ceremony, welcoming people from all over the world to Newfoundland. And the ceremony's been performed hundreds of thousands of times across the island. So what you're about to experience is a little bit of improv, some comedy, some storytelling, and a little touch of magic.
I mean, just tell me about, what do you want people to take away from being Screeched In?
You're going to take away exactly the experience that you gather from it. And people have told me that it's a world-class ceremony. They've seen cultural ceremonies all over the world, but this is their favorite.
Harry, let's bring the Royal Order of Screechers to order. I understand we got a bunch that want to get screeched in here tonight, hopefully becoming right proper honorary Newfoundlanders. The idea of this ceremony is to teach you a little bit about Newfoundland. I believe in kitchen parties, not raves. I believe in icebergs and blue stars, and that the puffin is a true, proud, and noble bird. And it's pronounced Newfoundland, not Newfoundland or Newfoundland. This is a real Newfoundland codfish. Given the chance, this fish could have grown to the height of 6 feet tall and weighed as much as 140 pounds. This fish will not grow any more than this because it's dead. We used to trade our fish with the Jamaicans for their rum. We love rum. We loved it so much we would actually get down on that wharf and we would kiss the fish goodbye, knowing it was coming back to us in the way of rum. Up the lips, over the gums, look out gullet, here it comes. Watch your bags.
Cheers.
Power vested in me, I now declare you all honorary Newfoundlanders.
What a great way to start my adventure in my home province. Now that I've been officially screeched in with all these new Newfoundlanders, I'm going to head north of St. John's to Trinity to see the wild side of this great province. Trinity is a picturesque town with a rich past and bright future. It's home to about 200, and these two represent half of all the children in this town. There's a lot to do in the area, including spotting whales and icebergs, and if you visit at the right time, you might just see one passing through what they call Iceberg Alley. And if it's an ocean safari that you're after, then there's no better place to visit than Trinity Eco Tours.
Ready for a day at sea.
I'm out here in Trinity with Skipper Bob. Tell me a bit about what we're going to experience out here on the water.
Oh, today we're going to see a wide range of things, I'm hoping. I don't refer to it as whale watching, I call it an ocean safari. So whatever's available on the open Serengeti, that's what we're going to get.
The fog is part of life here, and the locals have learned to embrace it. You're seeing people probably the first time they're seeing a whale in their lifetime. What's that feeling? It must, be fun to take those people out.
Oh, it's thrilling. And I mean, like from the moment the last whale leaves until they come back the next year, I can't wait. Providing that new experience to somebody that hasn't seen that before is a privilege, I guess, honestly.
Yeah, we've been chasing the water. We've been seeing it spout up in the blowhole, and we got up close. It's a fin whale. So when they pop up, they dive down quite deep, much deeper than the humpbacks, and we got to see it up close and personal. Wow, second biggest whale in the world, right there.
Nowadays, so many whales are endangered. Showing people these animals up front, is that going to, help conservation, do you think, to get people to care about these animals?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's no doubt that showing people whales, taking them to their habitat is helping to preserve and conserve their territories and their numbers.
And it's also iceberg season. What is iceberg season like? Is it difficult to plan your trip around seeing an iceberg at the right time? How do you forecast them?
You really can't forecast them. You live in hope. And those icebergs will calve off of Greenland, and it takes them 2 to 3 years to get here.
Whales and icebergs aren't the only attraction here. For some, it's a love affair with a more colorful creature. The province's official bird, the Atlantic puffin. Here, these lovable sea parrots make up the largest puffin colony in North America and help to make Newfoundland and Labrador a major destination for bird watching. Mark Gray has captured more than his fair share of them with his camera. It's great to see you out here in Trinity. I mean, I've seen so many of your pictures, and when did you decide I want to put this place on the map?
I kind of got into it through my phone probably, and got out exploring more. The more I got out exploring, that's when I realized, listen, we have such a beautiful area.
When people come here, they're drawn by these puffins. I mean, they're the official bird of Newfoundland. What's the best way to take a picture of a puffin?
They're a very cute creature. They're nicknamed the clowns of the sea. And that's for a really good reason. Where I live in Bonavista, we have 2 puffin sites, 2 puffin colonies. One is at Cape Bonavista, right behind our lighthouse. And the other puffin site is in the neighboring town of Ellison, which is just about 5 to 10 minutes away, we'll say. Lots of times people will go there and they'll only take 5 or 10 minutes, and the puffins at that point in time, the puffins could be out at seed and getting food. I would tell people, like, you have to be patient. And for me, as a photographer, an amateur photographer, with all the pictures that I do take of the puffins, patience is definitely the key.
You've developed a knack for it, I'll tell you that.
It's a lot of practice, a lot of fun.
It's so great to be here and meet you. Thank you so much.
It's been excellent talking with you, Nathan. I really appreciate it.
After chatting with Mark, I embarked on my own mission to capture some puffins, and it proved to be one spectacular trek. After all that hiking and puffin watching, it was time to unwind. So I came down to Clark's Beach to meet Peter, the co-owner of the Newfoundland Distillery Company, the first craft distillery in Newfoundland to use locally grown barley as the base spirit for many of its products.
Well, it's great to be here, Peter. The Newfoundland Distillery Company, I mean, you think about the drinking culture in Newfoundland. People have been drinking the old black rum for ages, but this is the first distillery to open in over a century in Newfoundland. The Newfoundland Distillery Company opened in 2017. How does Newfoundland approach alcohol?
I think enthusiastically. You know, everybody sort of enjoys either a glass of beer or rum, or actually wine or spirits or whiskey, all sorts, you know, at the end of the day, or sometimes even at lunchtime.
What has the response been to having a local spirit here to try?
Well, I think we've been really lucky. Everybody's been really sort of on side. We've been buying all our spirits, and we were also fortunate to win some awards early on, so people could then go, oh, actually, it's award-winning, so it must be quite good, we'll try it. I think in every bottle, we'd like to say we put a little bit of the province. So even, say, our gins, we've got Cloudberry gin, which is sort of bake apples picked in the bogs. We've got our seaweed gin, which is seaweed from the Grand Banks. The junipers all handpicked locally. So we're always sort of putting local botanicals into our bottles.
Yes, and kelp is one that kind of stands out because, you know, the ocean is everywhere you look here. Now you can put it in your drink. What does that taste like?
When we originally wanted to make gunpowder and rose rum, we wanted to put real gunpowder in, but Health Canada weren't convinced. So we found local alternatives, and there's saltpeter, and for that we used Newfoundland sea salt. That was easy. But sulfur was harder. Then we realized that kelp is a natural source of sulfur. So we used that, and then we tasted real gunpowder, and then we mocked up the flavors to taste like real gunpowder too.
Tell me about the bake apple specifically. I remember picking it when I was growing up in Newfoundland. Now you're calling it the cloudberry. It's infused in the gin. I mean, what has been the response to having that flavor in a drink?
Everybody in the province knows exactly what a bake apple is, and it should be called bake apple gin.
Yeah.
But because we export it outside the province, more people know what cloudberries are than bake apples. It grows in bogs. They're like sort of yellow raspberries, but they're slightly more citrusy. And then we've got this lovely citrusy gin, and I think goes brilliantly in the Negroni, which is one of my favorite drinks.
It's great for people to stop here and get that taste, that local taste here, but this is kind of, you're exporting this around Canada.
You know, it's very exciting to sort of be going across Canada, but to still be in the province, because, you know, this is where we're from, and we really want to be for everybody in the province and people who come to visit us. But at the same time, we want to be for everybody in Canada as well.
It's been quite the success. What do you think people are taking away from this, having this opportunity to try the local drink?
Well, I mean, hopefully they'll all sort of get a sense of place and, you know, feel that they're really enjoying something that's made right here in the province, and, you know, get some of the flavors, or if you want to be fancy, the terroir of the province. And, you know, in the tasting here, they can see the distillery, see how everything's made, learn more about it and enjoy it and just have a bit of fun. Okay, so now we're going to make a Negroni, if you're up for that. If you pick up the cocktail shaker at the bottom of the cocktail shaker,
All right.
and put some ice in.
How much ice?
A lot.
scoops?
Yeah, you want to be generous. We're making a double, which some people say you shouldn't do, but I think it's much more fun.
Oh, I like doubles.
So, yeah, if you fill that up twice, and then pour it into there each time.
Yeah.
So we need that, and then you need to put the bitters in,
Okay. Easy does it.
and that's the bitters. Okay, and now we're on to the next stage, which is our aperitif, which is made with lots of local botanicals like partridgeberry, rowanberry, and all sorts of fun things that we made with a restaurant called Terre. So now you poured everything in. Now you've got to pick up the spoon and you've got to stir it around.
It's a long spoon.
And so now the next stage is I'm going to put the big trendy ice cubes into our drinks, because the reason you have great big trendy ones is that they don't melt so quickly, so the drink lasts a lot longer. And then we want to just do a little garnish, and I find a dehydrated orange is a very easy garnish.
Okay.
So that's the final little flourish. That's fantastic work. I think you're a natural. You're hired. I don't know where you're going to go after this, but you're staying here.
All right. I'm excited to try the bake apple or cloudberry gin. Here we go. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers. Just like I remember picking it. Thank you so much for having me here. You know, I learned a lot about the local spirits.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Well, it's back on the road for me. Next up, some more nature. I'll be taking a look at the incredible geology and plant life in Newfoundland and getting a better appreciation for the province that I grew up in. At times, the terrain here makes it seem like it's a different planet. Newfoundland and Labrador doesn't just have geology, it's got world-class geology, and scientists from all over the world come here to study the world's evolution, as told by its rocks and fossils. At the Johnson Geocenter on Signal Hill, Dr. Rod Taylor knows all about it.
What excites you when you look at these rocks here? What do you want to tell people about?
Oh, mostly there's so much information. The rock itself first formed about 565 million years ago off the north coast of what is Africa today, and it moved north. And then about 400 million years ago, it collided with the side of North America. As a result of that, basically, we've got this material from Africa on the west coast of the island. On the east coast of the island, we've got a combination of material from North America, the Canadian Shield, and some more recent sedimentary rocks that have formed. And the center of the island is all the ocean floor that was between them that's been compressed and raised up.
Tell me, why is it that people are drawn here for the rocks?
I think one of the reasons is within a fairly small amount of space, you can actually get to see a lot of different rock types that cover a lot of different geological time periods. So within 2 or 3 hours, you can explore more than 150 million years of geological history. And a lot of these places have the fossils that are associated with those time periods as well, which tells us just an incredible amount of information.
So tell me about this. I mean, you find this on the beach, what are you thinking?
If you found this on the beach, you'd be a very, very lucky person. This is a specimen from Mistaken Point, and it's actually a cast of the specimen that's called Fractifusus. And there's a midline running down through, and we can see there are paired branches running on either side. And if you look up close, you can even see there are small branches within each of those branches. And that's what we call fractal branching, but we don't find it in nature today. It's a body and design that's completely disappeared. So these fossils are incredibly valuable because they're the oldest known animals on the planet.
So why do they call it the rock?
Now that actually I can give you a short answer for. Between about 10,000 and 25,000 years ago, Newfoundland was covered with a series of glaciers. As they moved along and scraped over the surface, they dug everything off the top. And every one of those glaciers moved towards the ocean, and every one of them dug deeper into the ground and scraped it away. So they call it the rock because it's pretty much a rock.
Fascinating. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me here today.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
But on this rock, there's a lot of natural beauty. And if you're looking to unplug and find your zen, there's no better place than this, the Memorial University Botanical Garden, nestled amidst a tranquil boreal forest. It offers an array of cultivated gardens and winding trails, and seemingly makes the time stop.
Okay, so Newfoundland, it's not the first province that comes to mind when you think of gardening. The soil's not that deep.
That's right.
But you do get some resilient plants.
Absolutely, yeah. The plants that we're walking through right now, this is in the Newfoundland Heritage Garden. So these are all plants that have been brought to Newfoundland by the people who came from Europe generally and settled here. I bet some of those plants didn't get through the first winter, but the ones that did are still here. And you can still go to like abandoned communities in Newfoundland that people haven't lived in years, and you can still find some of these plants still growing them on their own. And this is what we do. We create these boardwalks where it's necessary. We trim plants so that people can walk through the canopy and really get a sense that they're in the woods, but be in a really kind of protected, safe place to do that. Throughout the province, there are different ecosystems that specialize in different groups of plants, naturally. But we are in the boreal forest now, which is spruces and firs and pines and all those evergreens that you expect to see, but it's also birches and larches and all those deciduous materials. It's an amazing ecosystem, really. And so we're in a part of it here now, and it really does exemplify the boreal forest.
And as you walk through here, you can feel the sense of calm.
I know, hey, isn't it great? And that's the beauty of spaces like this, it's really, I think they're really important because, where else are you going to get this feeling? I would encourage people, wherever you live, to kind of find these spaces because they are everywhere. Every community has a natural space because they really do make you feel good. And again, when people come to visit, people who are not from here, especially if they've only got a short time to be in St. John's, for instance, they can actually experience the wild of Newfoundland just by coming down here to the Botanical Garden.
And you don't get much more natural beauty than Newfoundland.
That's true, yeah, I agree. I'm a little bit biased.
My trip to Newfoundland has been such a wonderful adventure, and I'm excited to see where my adventures take me next. Until then, happy trails.